Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. I'm Elise Seedy, and thank you for streaming with us this morning. It is March 5th. All right, let's get you started with one of the big stories that came down this morning. This was breaking news a little bit earlier. An Uber driver was reportedly shot in northwest Atlanta early this morning. So Atlanta police say they got to the shooting near Collier Road Northwest and DeFore Avenue Northwest early this morning. They say it happened shortly after 5 a.m. So our photojournalists were there on the scene. They observed several police units, an ambulance, a car with several bullet holes once they made it to the scene. Fox 5 then learned the shooting reportedly happened at a nearby apartment complex in the 300 block of Noble Creek Drive Northwest. And Atlanta police also told Fox 5 the driver for Uber was shot during the incident and, quote, people have been detained, but the circumstances surrounding the shooting and also the condition of the driver is not known. It's also not known how many people may have been detained. So just the bullet points here, looks like a group of people were detained and this Uber driver was shot in northwest Atlanta. So we're, of course, staying on top of the details that come out of that. Also, this one, a 20-year-old woman is speaking publicly for the first time since discovering what she says was a hidden camera in the bathroom. Melanie Dean said she was living with her boyfriend's family in Carrol County when she found a cell phone that was placed under a table in the bathroom. She says the phone was flipped upside down and actually pointed toward the toilet and the shower. She says that she yelled for help. Her boyfriend came into the room and began recording video of the phone, which she says continued recording for about 6 minutes. You could just see, you know, the way that things were propped up there in the bathroom in that short clip of video. The suspect was identified as 39-year-old Chris Stieglitz. We showed a picture of him just a moment ago. That's the stepbrother of Dean's boyfriend, also lived in the home. Carrol County authorities have charged him with unlawful surveillance. Okay, there he is. Court records show Stieglitz was previously charged with a voyeurism-related case from back in 2016 that was investigated by Carrollton police. Dean says the experience has changed her life, as you can imagine. I mean, this is not something you want to happen to you or anyone that you know. She said she now feels the need to check for cameras before using the bathroom or even taking a shower. She says this is something no one should ever have to worry about. Let's listen to her.
It's hard, so like I don't want to use the bathroom, like, because I have to look for cameras, and that shouldn't be a thing. Like, girls should not be afraid to use the bathroom.
Yeah, certainly not. So you can just feel her pain and how upset she is still talking about this. So a quick recap here. The suspect, 39-year-old Chris Stieglitz, is the stepbrother of her boyfriend, who also lived in the home, and he has been charged with unlawful surveillance. Well, now to this one. If you've not seen the video for this, it's wild. It's hard to watch and just to understand how this could possibly happen. But a man is under arrest after surveillance video shows him shoving two kids off of bikes. This happened in Sandy Springs, right around City Springs. Police say it happened on the sidewalk there, so you have to watch this to see what I'm talking about here. I want to watch too. Okay, there we go. So the boy's riding the bike. You see he pushes one into the fountain. The other one hit his head as he hit the ground. So just terrible. It appears to show who we're talking about here. Police have identified the suspect as Stephen Catterton, and you can see, you know, what appears to happen in all of this. Officers say they used this surveillance video, okay, not this one, but the one we showed you, to identify Catterton. They actually found him later that night watching a concert at City Springs, so in the same place where this happened. And police escorted him off in handcuffs, which is what this body cam video is showing. So in a statement, Sandy Springs police called the behavior unacceptable. They added pushing kids off bicycles is a quick way to meet their officers. That's what they said about it. Body cam video shows Catterton trying to argue a little bit with officers. He's turned away from the camera, though, so you really can't hear and kind of make out what he's saying. But what you hear the officers say in the audio of all this is that he can take it up with the judge, is what they're saying about that. So we actually have a little bit more on this. Our Brittany Edney took over the story today. So let's listen to what she found out about it.
It looked like investigators got video of the incident right over here from the security camera that overlooks the sidewalk. This is the spot where investigators say that a man shoved two young teen boys off their bikes, one of them into this fountain behind me.
Take a look at
This video. It starts off with a man in a blue and cream plaid shirt and blue jeans walking down the sidewalk. Then it looks like he aggressively pushes two teen boys off their respective bikes, with one of them landing on the sidewalk, the other in a fountain. Police responded, found the surveillance video, and that night arrested Stephen Catterton while he was sitting and watching a concert at City Springs. You can see them pull him out of the concert while he was sitting and watching from a seat in the back of the venue. And here's the interaction between Catterton and the arresting officers.
So you're under arrest for assaulting juveniles. We have it on camera. Now, sir, we watched the video. Well, you can tell that to the judge.
Sandy Springs police wrote in a statement, quote, "Pushing kids off bicycles is not only unacceptable, it's also a quick way to meet our officers. If Mr. Catterton happens to be your neighbor, you may want to use caution." In that body cam footage, you can hear Catterton saying something to the arresting officer, but because of the way his body was positioned away from that camera, it's hard to really make out what exactly he said. However, you could hear the arresting officer reply back, "Take it up with the judge." Reporting in Sandy Springs, Brittany Edney, Fox 5 News.
All right, let's get you now to a big story that's happening out of Fulton County. I feel like there's a lot of stories that involve the Fulton County jail, conditions there, and overcrowding there as well. But the commissioner board has approved a plan to try to address some of the issues that have happened with overcrowding at the Rice Street Jail. So let's get into what we know about this. So board chair Rob Pitts introduced this proposal during Monday morning's meeting. It was a 5-point plan designed to reduce the jail population by about 1,000 inmates. So pretty significant. That proposal includes sending some nonviolent offenders to new diversion center in what Pitts is calling basically a second chance. So expanding the use of ankle monitors, sending text message reminders to inmates about upcoming court dates. Again, all in an effort to try to keep some of these folks out of jail, this second chance program. And that plan also calls for speeding up the transfer of inmates who are being held for other jails, so getting them out to where they need to go. Pitt said the initiative wouldn't require additional funding, saying the money is already within the sheriff's office budget. Some commissioners, though, weren't happy about this. In fact, they said they were caught off guard by the proposal. In fact, Commissioner Marvin Arrington Jr. said he wasn't notified about the plan beforehand and that no documents outlining the proposal were included in the meeting agenda. Other commissioners voiced similar concerns about this, but even despite those objections, this plan passed by a 4-3 vote. So this will move forward. Fulton County Sheriff Pat Labatt said his office wasn't notified beforehand either, noting the sheriff's office has already implemented steps to try to address overcrowding. I mean, the sheriff's been very vocal about the issues at the Fulton County Jail. We still don't know when this plan will be implemented. All right, so we talk quite a bit about what's happening in the Middle East, but a big part of that is, of course, the folks who are there, Americans who are there and not able to make their way home. Well, that's the story for a Georgia couple, and they are describing what life is like for them under fire in Israel. They say it's basically calm boredom and nervousness. Those are their words, and just describing, what is happening. So just to give you a little bit of details on them, they say they're stuck in Israel, no clear timeline on when they might be able to make it back home as airlines cancel flights in and out of the region amid ongoing attacks. So we're talking about Brian Schumann and his wife Yael. They spoke via Zoom about what they're experiencing right now while sheltering with family. So let's listen to that.
We got in the car, we started driving down, and goodness, within an hour, half hour, we just started seeing streaks of smoke or something across the sky and hearing booms. You can imagine all the phones in everybody's hands are going off. And then if they think it's going to be close to us, we'll get a second alert. And that's really prominent. And that's take shelter. You've got 2 minutes to get to your shelter.
Yeah, so their experience there, I mean, not unlike the experiences that we're seeing so many post about, those who are stuck somewhere in the Middle East trying to make their way back home. But let's take a look at what is happening today there in the Middle East. Iran has launched a new wave of attacks today targeting Israel, also U.S. bases and other locations across the Middle East. And this is coming as Israeli and American forces are continuing airstrikes against Iran, Iran for a sixth straight day. So this conflict has escalated daily, and it's now impacting 14 countries across the region. Iran has warned the U.S. that it would, quote, bitterly regret sinking an Iranian warship earlier this week near Sri Lanka. Meanwhile, Israel has issued a mass evacuation order for the southern suburbs of Beirut as fighting intensified with Hezbollah militants in Lebanon. UN peacekeepers say ground combat has been reported in southern Lebanon as more Israeli troops cross the border. The U.S. and Israel say their strikes inside Iran are targeting military sites along with leadership and parts of the country's nuclear program. Iran's retaliatory attacks have also disrupted oil supplies and global air travel across the region, which we, again, have heard so much about. So officials say the conflict has killed at least 1,230 people in Iran. They're saying that number is about 70 in Lebanon, about a dozen in Israel, and of course those 6 U.S. troops as well. So joining us to talk more about all of this, Fox's Rebecca Castor, just to get into the details. So Rebecca, thank you so much for being on with us today to talk about this. Let's start with this. So the War Powers resolution failed in the Senate yesterday, and the House will vote today. So is this more of a symbolic move by lawmakers, or what are we anticipating with that, Rebecca?
Yes, you could definitely say this is more of a symbolic vote. Democrats want to get Republicans on the record supporting the president and this war. So this vote is more about politics than Democrats actually being able to end the fighting. If down the line public support for the war plummets, Democrats can use this vote against Republicans in November. But if it's vice versa, if voters embrace the war effort, then Republicans can use this against Democrats. But I should say the vote failing in the Senate yesterday, it's a good early win for the Trump administration on rallying support for the mission.
U.S. Central Command says the Iranian regime is spreading fake news. So what is it exactly that they've been saying?
Well, at least the Iranians are notorious for propaganda. They're claiming U.S. forces are withdrawing, that they sunk a U.S. destroyer, that they took a U.S. fighter jet down, that they've killed hundreds of Marines. U.S. Central Command says all of that is false, that U.S. forces are the ones who've sunk more than 20 Iranian ships and have reduced their ability to fight back with drones by 73% and to fight back with their ballistic missiles by 86%. So when you see rumors circulating on social media in this digital bot age we're in, it's important for those at home to seek out official sources.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. Something else here, Rebecca. Secretary Pete Hegseth is heading to U.S. Central Command today. So do we have any word on discussions that are expected to take place?
Yes, Secretary Hegseth is going to meet with the CENTCOM commander, Admiral Brad Cooper, and they're going to hold a joint press conference later this afternoon on the ongoing operation. It will be interesting to hear from them if the ramped up U.S. strikes on Iran that Pete Hegseth was speaking about yesterday, if those have begun. And it will also be interesting to see if the secretary comments at all on Kurdish fighters joining the fight and the reports we're hearing about the CIA possibly arming them.
Rebecca, one more question before we let you get back to what you need to do. What is the Trump administration saying right now about putting boots on the ground in Iran?
Yeah, important conversation. I know a lot of people at home are wondering about that. The White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, said yesterday that U.S. ground troops are not part of the plan at this time. President Trump has said this frequently as well, but he also says he has not ruled it out. So that is the concern we're hearing from lawmakers here on Capitol Hill. The president largely has support from his party on the war right now. But if U.S. troops start a ground offensive in Iran, we could see that change. So something to watch.
Certainly so. Fox's Rebecca Castor filling us in on all of this. Rebecca, thank you so much. We certainly appreciate you. Right, our time now 11:14, and turning our attention now to something that's happening on Capitol Hill. The House is preparing to vote on a resolution that would limit President Trump's ability to conduct military action against Iran without congressional approval first. So this is significant. It comes a day after the Senate rejected a similar measure along party lines and really highlights deep divisions in Congress over the rapidly escalating conflict. So it's backed by Democrats and some bipartisan lawmakers. It would immediately halt the war unless Congress approved continued action. And a small group of Democrats has also proposed a version allowing the president 30 more days before needing approval. Republicans largely support President Trump. They framed the strike as defending the U.S. against an imminent threat and also an opportunity to try to neutralize Iran's leadership. Democrats say the war is a choice that tests the congressional balance of power. They insist only Congress can authorize military action. The vote is seen really as a key test of political support for the president's strategy, and Americans continue to evacuate that region, or try to anyway. U.S. military casualties mount as well. 6 troops again. U.S. troops have lost their lives in this so far. So in the Senate on Wednesday, Democrats staged a symbolic show of protest. The resolution failed 47, though, to 53, mostly along party lines. House vote is expected to be closer, and the outcome could shape the next steps in the U.S.-Israel military conflict against Iran. Also, the House expected to vote on a bill to fund the Department of Homeland Security, it looks like through the end of the fiscal year. Republicans are saying the conflict in Iran makes it urgent to have DHS fully funded and also staffed across all departments. House Speaker Mike Johnson has called it crucial just in light of what's happening right now, in light of the military action. The bill previously passed the House in January, but it stalled in the Senate after Democrats demanded changes to immigration enforcement operations following the shooting death of ICU nurse Alex Preddy in Minneapolis. So Democrats continue opposing full funding for immigration and customs enforcement and customs and border protection. They're arguing the bill lacks sufficient oversight. Many DHS employees have already missed paychecks this week. Republicans are warning the shutdown could lead to longer airport lines, canceled cybersecurity assessments, and postponed training for first responders as well. If the bill passes, if the House passes the bill, it must still clear the Senate before it becomes law. Well, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem faced continued questioning Wednesday about her agency's involvement in the immigration crackdown that's happening. In fact, this week, for the first time since January's unrest, the streets of Minneapolis and the deadly shootings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy at the hands of ICE agents, the Homeland Security Secretary is having to defend the Trump administration's immigration enforcement crackdown. Kristi Noem, as who we're talking about here, facing heavy criticism for a second straight day, grilling, I think it's safe to say. The chaos that unfolded in Minnesota has led to a stalemate in Congress, where the Senate remains deadlocked on a plan to fully fund DHS through September. Noem and members of the GOP argue that leaving DHS unfunded while the U.S. engages in attacks on Iran makes the country vulnerable. During the hearings, Democrats and several Republicans have called for Noem's resignation. And so we will take a closer look at more of some of what was said a little bit later in the stream. Meanwhile, Attorney General Pam Bondi, her turn, facing further scrutiny over the Department of Justice's handling of the Epstein files. The House Oversight Committee voted yesterday to subpoena Bondi just to answer some questions regarding the DOJ's investigation of convicted sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. Every Democrat on the committee and also 5 Republicans voted in favor of that subpoena. So really significant that 5 Republicans are in that number as well. That motion was introduced by Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace, and Bondi's faced quite a bit of criticism over the DOJ's approach to the Epstein Files Transparency Act, which requires all the agency's documents on Jeffrey Epstein to be publicly released. DOJ has been accused of missing deadlines, withholding information, and also not properly redacting victims' identities as well. The subpoena will require Bondi to testify before a committee in a closed deposition. Okay, taking us back up here, looks like the head of the IRS, Frank Viciano, faced some tough questions on Capitol Hill on Wednesday over how the agency is handling the 2026 tax season. So lawmakers grilled him on staffing cuts, also the agency's ability to process more than 160 million returns, and also allegations the IRS has targeted political opponents. He also faced some pretty tough questions about sharing taxpayer data with ICE, which a federal judge previously ruled was illegal. He pushed back, saying the IRS is prepared to handle this year's filings, while some Republicans defended his efforts to rebuild the agency. Tax season is in full swing, too. The deadline to file, you'll remember, is April 15th. All right, our time is now 11:20, and we are back with more for you right after this. Welcome back, everyone. Looks like it is 11:22 on this Thursday, March 5th. So let's talk about something that's happening in the city. Atlanta is set to host a two-day workforce expo this week at the Georgia World Congress Center. So we sent our Eli Jordan out there just to check it out. Let us know what's happening, who's invited, all the good stuff. So Eli, good morning to you. What's going on?
Hey, good morning, Elise. Yeah, I am at the Georgia World Congress Center where 100 potential employers are out here. Showcase Atlanta and the Georgia Department of Labor, along with the Georgia World Congress Center Authority, to put on this event because not only FIFA is coming, but FIFA World Cup and beyond is the thing. And I am here with Kelsey Maynard, who is the Director of Business Engagement with Showcase Atlanta. Hey, yeah. Kelsey, how you doing?
How you doing, man? Good morning.
Good morning. Tell me, how do you feel about the turnout, and what do people need to know?
Honestly, this is an amazing turnout so far. We had over 3,000 job seekers today. Between today and tomorrow, we've got about 700, 800 people that have come through so far. We're still walking around talking to all these employers. I'm telling everybody to do one thing, talk to all the employers, talk to everybody. We have hospitality from hotels to restaurant groups. We have the police departments from not just Fulton County, but from the city of Atlanta, Cobb County, correctional facilities. We have plenty of employers from healthcare all the way through. So I'm telling people to talk to everybody, find out what's out there for you. They're trying to hire today.
And so, I mean, you're offering more than just job interviews. You're offering, headshots and some other things, correct?
Oh, yeah, we have professional headshots. We partner with Goodwill. Next year we have resume workshops, too. So they have resume workshops outside, have headshots. We have a LinkedIn person coming to help people with their LinkedIn profile, because some people have to get on there digitally. So we have all those wraparound services. We have professional clothes as well. So some people came in, didn't have a blazer, didn't have a dress shirt. We have that all set up outside as well.
And so this is going on for 2 days, from 10 a.m. until 2, today and tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so do you have to register? Tell me all about that. If I'm sitting at home watching this and I want to come out here, what do I need to do?
Now, we had a registration link that was on our Showcase Atlanta website, but that went down this morning. But you can still come in. You can register right here in the front when you come in. If you see it and you say, I need a job right now, we're here today until 2 o'clock, and tomorrow from 10 to 2. Come on up here, get registered at the front desk, and come on in and try to get you a job.
Free of charge. Now tell me real quick, you guys, initially, I mean, everybody's getting ready for a World Cup, and that's an Olympic level event type. I mean, Atlanta changed after the Olympics, and this is going to be another big boost for Atlanta. This isn't just short-term jobs out here, is it?
No. See, some people are hiring for what they're building up for World Cup, but a lot of people are saying, hey, it's not just World Cup I'm building for. I know there's a surge that's happening in the city of Atlanta. I want to make sure my business prepares. So I'm hiring long-term. I'm hiring for careers. And so a lot of the stuff we're doing is for career readiness. We know people are coming, starting a job today that may have it for another 5 or 10 years. And that's our goal.
Tell me what Showcase Atlanta does, and I like y'all's motto or your saying.
Yeah, so Showcase Atlanta is a vision that the mayor of Atlanta had, that we want to make sure we showcase Atlanta from a community level as well as our businesses. And so when all these large-scale events, these conferences, these games, these concerts come to Atlanta, we want it to happen with Atlanta, not to Atlanta. What that means is that we want to make sure that we are a part of it, that we're engaged, and that the people that come to Atlanta for these conferences and concerts know about this Atlanta, the cool Atlanta that we go to, the different parts of Atlanta, the East Atlanta, the West Side of Atlanta, the South Side, those areas that we go, our favorite restaurants, our favorite places to hang out, our favorite parks. We want them to experience that with us and not having to us.
That's awesome. I like that slogan. Global experience. Tell me again.
It's a global experience that happens with Atlanta, not to Atlanta.
Not to Atlanta, yeah, because the Olympics really just pushed everything. I think Atlanta's on the cusp of just another major, generational change, a boost, I guess.
Oh man, we've grown tremendously over the last 30 years, and so we can only imagine with what we know now from having 96 Olympics, what we'll be able to do with World Cup, Super Bowl's coming up as well. We have so many major events happening in the city of Atlanta. We're growing tremendously.
This is awesome. So a 2-day event going on today and tomorrow until 10 a.m.
10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
And sometimes you might get hired on the spot again.
Yeah.
You might get a call back waiting for a call back.
People are hiring today.
Awesome. Well, Kelsey Maynard, thank you very much, Director of Business Engagement with Showcase Atlanta. At least that is what's happening here at the Georgia World Congress Center. It's real busy. This is a serious thing, not only just for World Cup, but the World Cup and beyond. Back to you.
That's some good stuff. Okay, Eli, I don't need you getting any ideas, though, okay? Don't you be walking around too much, because we need you here at Fox 5, so don't get any crazy ideas. Deal?
I'm looking for audio, video jobs here. Let's see what's going on.
No more looking for you.
I'm well-rounded. I'm also a reporter now,
Don't
too.
quit it.
No, I'm good. I'm just working today. I'm focused on working.
You better just be, Eli. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate it. All right, our time is 11:28, and speaking of time, we got some big changes that are coming when it comes to our clocks. We are finally about to spring forward, ready or not. Daylight saving begins Sunday at 2 a.m. and it just gives most Americans an extra hour of evening light, which that part of it I think is really nice. But 1 hour less of sleep this weekend. They go hand in hand, and that seasonal change could end up impacting your body's internal clock. A lot of people say they can feel it, and they feel it for a while. It could be challenging for those who have trouble falling asleep. Health experts do have a few tips, though, on how to readjust to your sleep-wake routine, right? We encounter this 2 times every year. They say if possible, move back your natural sleep cycle by 15 minutes each day. Doing that 1 or 2 days this week could help. And it's Thursday, so you really better get on this if that's your plan. They say set your alarm 15 minutes earlier each day. Open those curtains up to try to get more exposure to sunlight. And even low-dose melatonin, they say, can help. Doctors say people should prioritize sleep to maintain long-term healthy sleeping habits. So again, ready or not, get ready to spring forward Sunday at 2 a.m. Let's turn our focus now to the forecast. Meteorologist Jonathan Stacy is joining us now with that, and at least the sunshine part of that, I feel like we've really had as of late. You know, that natural light. Open those curtains up. Sun's
It's
shining.
absolutely bliss outside, and I love sleep. So, not
It's
that I'm
good
going to
stuff.
get any more,
You
but
won't.
it's my favorite time of the day. I don't want to give this little Kroger drink an ad.
I know. What are you thinking? If you want to know, let's peek behind the curtain here. What does Jonathan Stacy drink?
Grapefruit.
There we go. But see, the thing
it's
is
like
with
a form of LaCroix.
it is right, but can you drink a whole one? Because I feel like the whole thing with LaCroix and drinks like this is that everyone's notorious for drinking like 2 sips and then they
Oh,
can't.
I
Do
thought
you
I was
drink
the
it
only
all?
one.
No, it's all of us. Everyone does that. We can never finish.
A
Can you
friend of
finish
mine
this?
used to like harass me for wasting. He was like, "Here you go again. You only drink half of it," and I'm like, "It doesn't taste the same after it's all said and done."
Right. So you do it too.
After I've had the first couple gulps,
Uh-huh.
I don't know what it is. This is so raggedy for me saying this, but I'm gonna go here.
Okay.
I don't know what it feels like to smoke a cigarette, but like I see people like they take a first puff and they're like, "This is the way I feel when I do this."
Okay.
I'm not advocating for doing anything or drinking anything,
Like
but
we
it
can
just,
physically
it just,
see you.
It just,
like,
just goes.
oh my gosh, that is hilarious. You learn something new
Yeah,
every day.
I'm a half drinker.
He's a half drinker. All right.
Oh my god, I never thought I'd discuss these things, but
We're all family here on streaming, right? Yeah.
yeah, chat about that. I'm sure that's something that you can put in the comments.
Love it. All right.
So
what's happening out
we're
there?
off into the races today. Temperatures could potentially be bound for some record highs. I don't think we're going to end up breaking some records, but maybe we could do that. We're in contention over the next couple of days. Where do temperatures stand at this hour? Well, right now we're at 65 degrees, so we got a little catching up to do with our neighbors in Covington, Rome, and Canton. Also, Blairsville and LaGrange already warmer than we are here in Atlanta. So we had some thick clouds over Atlanta and even some fog this morning. So we're trying to still break out and break free. But when we do, I think it is off into the races in terms of who gets to the 80s. So here's what I'm looking at for the remainder of the day. A short stay in the 80s if we get there between the hours of 1 and 4 o'clock. And then tonight we'll cool things down, but we'll still be fairly mild, 60 degrees. And then tomorrow, let's go right back to the 80s. 81 degrees here in town. I think it's going to end up being quite just the absolutely spectacular end to the weekend, into the work week. The weekend, maybe a bit of a different story.
No, that's not great.
Rain chances going up. I think Sunday's going to be the day in which we probably end up going outside, thinking everything's cool and calm, and then bam. So I've even taken the temperatures down. We would get into the 80s if the showers and storms didn't break out. So that means that we're going to turn down the temperature a bit because as soon as we're getting on the cusp of hitting the lower 80s, I think showers of a numerous fashion, a few thunder showers as well, will break out. And that's basically the story for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. A little bit of a drop off in the stormy activity for Tuesday, and then it looks like we'll have a front pulling through Wednesday into Thursday of next week. So it's a very summer-like pattern.
It is.
I know you see the elevated rain and storm chances, so you're like, dog, man, what's going on here? Not all that. Like, embrace the early part of the day. You know, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 o'clock in the morning, perfectly fine. If you find a shower or storm, let me know, because it's going to be hard to do. But as you get into the 2, 3 o'clock window, all the way till about 8 o'clock at night, you know, it's kind of open season for the skies to do whatever they want to do, wherever they want to do it. But it doesn't do it for everybody.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
you know, some of you may be protected from a downpour just because they wandered, you know, a little bit farther to the east or the west. Some could get hit every day. So I can't say, oh, you're going to get an inch of rainfall. It just really kind of depends on where you are and when
What
you're
time of
there.
day.
Yeah, exactly.
So when I was looking at the extended forecast that was up a moment ago and I saw, you know, temperatures in the 80s, there we go, temperatures in the 80s and then those chances of rain showers, I just feel like it's gonna feel like a greenhouse. Is it gonna feel like a greenhouse? Because that's a high temperature with the rain chances
Yeah,
too,
so
you know?
what I'm not seeing is a spike in the dew points. So I can't say how it's going to feel. But I don't feel like the dew points are about to get out of pocket.
Okay, you're not reading miserable just yet.
We're calling on summer factors here, as in the numbers, but the summer feels I can't say it's going to be in the air just yet, because the dew points, they're going to ride in the upper 50s, lower 60s. That, puts us in the green. That, I think you'll be able to sense something. But will you be sweltering? Will it be just kind of a muggy mess out there? Like, I was better off before the rain came because, I can't even dry off now because, my skin is still sweating. I don't think it's that.
Not yet.
I don't think it's there. We're going to pump the brakes on that.
Cool.
But this lets us know that we're getting into a period of time in which we can have some really high peaks, but we're still not far from some big dramatic cool downs that can still happen. Keep in mind, it's the first week of March. So we got March, April, and May to go.
True.
And those are known for doing this up and down all around. So
we know that well.
I would love to keep it on a steady fetch upwards, but, I'm not in charge. I'm the messenger.
You're just the messenger,
Yeah,
right?
uh-huh.
Okay. Well,
Yep.
this was great. Enjoy your drink. Let's see. We
know.
challenge you. The streaming family, we challenge you to finish that whole thing by the time the noon show starts. Okay.
So
you better
here,
let me
by
feel
the
it.
noon,
Okay,
by
let
the
me
time
see.
the noon show starts,
It's still pretty heavy.
that's 25 minutes from now. Here's the deal with these. I think I know why. Is that you can't drink them as fast as you would drink another drink.
Yeah, absolutely not.
So it's a slowed effect.
And
So
they kind of get
therefore-
room temperature faster, I feel like, too.
Yeah,
You
there
know?
may
You
be
feel like that
something
too?
like, I wonder, it's like there's something in carbon that it does not keep cool when there's
Yeah.
carbon ions in here.
Such a scientist.
And,
Listen to him.
I
Listen
think there's
to
something to
him.
it. Yeah. Somebody help
know.
me out.
All right.
I'm
And no, we're not sponsored by Kroger Sparkling Water, but apparently we should be because they've gotten a lot of play today.
not sure.
Jonathan, Stacy hanging with us. Jonathan,
Peace
thank
out.
you so much. All right. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. 11:38 now. Okay, let's talk about something that is happening potentially here in Atlanta. Could host the 2028 Democratic National Convention. It's a big maybe at this point, but the city is at least preparing its bid to host the Democratic National Convention after the DNC selected it as one of its finalists this week. So it's at least in the running. We know that so far. A source familiar with the process is telling Fox 5 the city is planning for a visit from representatives sometime this spring. So let's get into the few things we know about it so far. Again, a finalist for the 2028. So this is a few years down the road. What year is it? Okay, this is 2 years down the road, right? It is 2026. So 2 years from now to host the Democratic National Convention. Not a done deal, as the city must first convince the DNC. They've got to sell this. City made the short list along with Looks like Boston is on there, Chicago, and Chicago's who beat us out the last time for this. Denver is on the list and Philly as well. So no huge surprises, I don't think, as far as cities. No really big wild cards in there. Officials at the Atlanta Convention and Visitors Bureau said that they could not comment at this time due to ongoing discussion. So they're being pretty tight-lipped about it. City is already scheduled to host the World Cup. Of course, this year, we talk about that a lot. The Super Bowl is coming to Atlanta in 2028. One local economist says that hosting the DNC could give the area a boost, noting 2028 could end up being a big year for Atlanta with both the Super Bowl and potentially the DNC happening in the same year. So one of the biggest benefits to come from hosting big events like these are the improvements it brings to the city infrastructure and also the investment in the downtown area. DNC, here's how they'll handle this. They'll send a representative to Atlanta to do a site tour, and that means they will look in all the nooks and crannies. So they'll go into the hotel rooms, they'll look at those, they'll look at where this would be held, you know, do big tours and just check things off their list, make sure everything is in good shape. Specific dates for the DNC visit were not provided, so we don't know when a representative will be coming. But again, this could be significant. Atlanta in the running, at least, to host the 2028 Democratic National Convention. So that should be pretty interesting. Let's get to this one now. Kristi Noem is facing a second day of testimony before House Democrats in a House Judiciary hearing. This happened yesterday. So during her Senate testimony on Tuesday, she defended her department's immigration enforcement tactics, which have been criticized by some. Several lawmakers have even called for Kristi Noem to resign. So let's listen in for a few minutes on part of her testimony.
Bias the investigation. Secretary Noem, will you acknowledge that your lies labeling Ms. Good and Mr. Pretty as domestic terrorists could bias the DHS investigation into their killings?
These investigations are ongoing. They're
well, couldn't your comments have signaled
the Incident Review
what
Committee
the conclusion of the investigation
any
should
actions
be?
that will take it, and within CBP, it's the National Use of Force Board that does those evaluations.
What you did
They'll
was actually
continue to
prejudice
do
the investigations that your department is conducting, Madam Secretary. And, you know, it's no mistake. Your department has a pattern of obstructing investigations. A federal judge has lambasted your ICE director for lying in court, and you, the Inspector General, just yesterday revealed to the public, your own Inspector General, who was appointed by Trump, has revealed that your department has been obstructing his independent investigations into your department and into your department's ability to investigate others.
That is not true. In that letter that he sent to the Hill yesterday,
I want to enter into the record for unanimous consent two articles that document the fact that the Inspector General says that DHS has systematically obstructed its work. It's a Wall Street Journal article dated March 3rd, yesterday.
Without objection.
And also a Politico article, internal DHS watchdog, Noem, is obstructing our work.
Without objection.
How can the public think that you will give...
Gentleman's time has expired. You've asked for two unanimous consent requests. Without objection, those are into the record. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Wisconsin, Mr. Fitzgerald.
Secretary Noem, thanks for being here today. Despite the undeniable increase in terrorist threats at the border and in the interior of the United States, Alejandro Mayorkas repeatedly misled this committee and the American people by asserting that aliens entering our country were being properly vetted and screened. When I asked him many times about whether or not the border was secure, his response was, secure did not mean migration had stopped. It simply meant that resources had been deployed, enforcement processes were in place, and legal authorities were being used in a proper way. Completely ridiculous. My question is related to the vetting process, though. Can you just elaborate a little bit on how you had to reform and change that process compared to where we were under Secretary Mayorkas?
Well, if you're talking in specifics to programs under USCIS that were being utilized by the Biden administration to allow access into our country, we have put on pause a hold on green cards and naturalizations from 39 different countries of interest that the president had identified with the State Department. And Operation Allies Welcome has been a huge conversation as well. Those individuals are being re-vetted, and they're being re-vetted by going back and interviewing them. Under the refugee program, every year there's to be an in-person interview conducted in order to keep that status and to see if this individual is working to become a legal permanent resident or not. That was not happening at all. There was no interviews happening. There was no looking at social media and what they were out there putting on the internet as far as thoughts and opinions and how they were being successful assimilating into getting a job, or how their kids were doing in school, those things. All that vetting is being done and background information now to make new determinations on individuals, not just that were here under that program, but that came in under the Biden administration.
Okay, so we've been listening to what's been happening, this testimony that went on Tuesday and Wednesday. You could hear things got a bit tense at times. This is Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, and just defending her department on Capitol Hill, and faced some pretty intense questions over immigration enforcement and also spending. So lawmakers pressed Noem on the deaths of Renee Good and Alex Preddy in Minneapolis, and they also questioned her description of the protesters as armed agitators and her office's use of force. And there were some Republicans who also criticized her leadership as well. Noem rejected allegations that DHS obstructed watchdog investigations and defended the department's use of administrative warrants, saying they are rare and legal. And she was also grilled over spending, including a $220 million ad campaign, along with the purchase of luxury jets. But she insisted all contracts are lawful and were approved ahead of time. Lawmakers questioned her relationship with top advisor Corey Lewandowski, even raising some personal accusations. Noem responded to those by saying that's tabloid garbage and denied any of that. She maintains her agency is following the law and protecting national security, despite calls for greater accountability. Well, turning our focus now to this, a federal judge is ruling some companies may now be entitled to tariff refunds. So this could potentially be big. Judge Richard Eaton of the U.S. Court of International Trade ruled on Wednesday companies who paid tariffs struck down the Supreme Court last month are due refunds. The decision comes after the nation's highest court found President Trump exceeded his power when he imposed some of last year's global tariffs. Court says the president couldn't set and change tariffs without congressional approval. In the ruling, Eaton says he alone will hear cases pertaining to tariff refunds, but a former U.S. trade official says he expects the government to appeal the decision or, quote, seek a stay to buy more time in order to comply. Federal government collected more than $130 billion in tariff revenue and may owe $175 billion in refunds. This is according to the Penn-Wharton budget model, so certainly something to stay on top of, following that closely. Now to some new details that are emerging after Hall County Sheriff Gerald Couch was arrested last week. We're told for allegedly driving under the influence. So that's a picture of him there. According to reports, 63 years old and was swerving all over the road in a county-issued SUV. Yikes, the blood alcohol level of 0.212%, which is nearly 3 times the legal limit. Officers say Couch admitted to drinking early that morning, including 4 Locos and 2 Bahama Mama drinks, and spilled alcohol in the vehicle. Goodness, he was charged with DUI, failure to maintain a lane, and possession of an open container. He was taken to the jail, released on bond the same night, but it's not yet clear if he will be removed from his position as sheriff. Again, we are talking about the sheriff in Hall County. Well, this one is certainly an attention getter. Authorities are saying that they have seized more than 1,100 pounds of methamphetamine, and it was hidden in the roof of a tractor trailer in Troup County. It's got a street value, they say, of about $25 million. Yep, there it is, right there in the roof. Could just fit it perfectly there. The driver, they say, is 62-year-old Pagai Daniel Auguste, who was arrested, charged with drug trafficking, booked last Wednesday released on a $10,000 bond. DEA agents say the drugs were concealed in a hidden compartment in the trailer itself rather than mixed with legitimate cargo. Hidden really well. If you saw that video just a moment ago, investigators call the seizure a major blow to the cartels that distribute the synthetic drugs in the U.S. And attorneys emphasize he is presumed innocent until the investigation continues. But this is a big deal. Again, a street value $25 million taken off the streets in Troup County. Well, still ahead this morning, we are talking about a new PGA Superstore. The really interesting part of this, I think, is that there's about $50,000 in merchandise that's up for grabs for some lucky people. So we'll tell you more in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone. Let's start with this. We got some big news from Atlanta United, some exciting news, but this will be my first time reading through this as I'm sharing the news with you, so bear with me. Starting this weekend, you'll be able to watch Atlanta United games on Fox 5 Atlanta for free. Okay, so this is a good thing. Fox 5 will run full match encore replays of Atlanta United matches Saturday, providing a new free viewing option for fans. The partnership kicks off March 7th, so it looks like this Saturday will be the first go of this with a replay of the February 28th match against San Jose, followed by weekly broadcasts through the 2026 season, while live games stay on Apple TV. This is really just a deal to boost soccer's local profile here in the Metro, so this is a really big deal, and to get folks excited about the 2026 FIFA World Cup as well. So again, starting this weekend, you'll be able to watch Atlanta United matches here on Fox 5 Atlanta for free. So certainly good to be able to share that news with you. And this is some news that's probably great for all of you golfing fans. There's a new PGA Superstore that's opening up in Buckhead, and there's a really cool way for folks to be able to take home $50,000 in merchandise and giveaways very soon. So our Austin Haygood is live in front of the store with a look at the store and just what's happening, because that's an attention getter when you talk about $50,000. Austin, good morning.
Hey, how you doing? We are at the PGA Tour Superstore here in Buckhead. It has been a great just morning hanging out with some of the folks that have been here for numerous days getting ready for Saturday's grand opening. I'm going to come behind the camera. We're going to go and talk to some of those people real quick. right. Going an adventure, will we? Let's do it. All right. All right. Let's go. Here we go, here we go, here we go. All right. How we doing today?
Doing excellent. How about you?
Gotcha. So, my friend Greg, how long have you been out here waiting on the grand opening on Saturday?
I got here Monday at 3:30 in the morning.
Gotcha. And just, where are you from? Are you from Georgia or?
Cleveland, Tennessee.
Cleveland, Tennessee. So how long of a drive is that? And just
a little over 2 hours.
Gotcha. Yep. And so talk to me just logistically, like give me like a little bit of tour of like what we're doing here, you know, with the camper situation or the tent situation.
All right, I've got my tent and I've got a queen mattress inside my tent. It's an air mattress. We got our coolers. We've got heaters. We've got a grill to cook on.
Gotcha.
I have a TV and a generator, but it's being charged right now.
Gotcha. Yeah. And just what's the one thing you guys are most excited for of getting here at this grand opening?
We're trying to get some prizes that we are actually going to put in a golf tournament for my grandson who has a rare neurological disorder. So we're going to use it to fund some golf tournament prizes to raise some money to get a cure for him.
Gotcha. And which prize in particular are you trying to get? Is it a set of clubs or?
Probably be irons, I'm hoping. Okay. It'd be the highest price value. So.
Any brand in particular you're looking for?
No, not particularly. Just any irons will work for me.
That's awesome.
Yep.
The rest of my friends here, you guys hanging out? You guys doing all right?
Yeah.
All right, we got tents aplenty out here. And let's go. We're going to do a quick tour of the store. Quick tour of the PGA Tour Superstore. Hey, here we go. Going right on through here. And here we go. We got the general manager, Brian. Push action or pull. Yeah, there you go. Hey, how we doing?
Good.
So talk to me, just give me the brief, tour that we can do of this store.
Yeah, so we're super excited about this amazing store. We've got a great selection of clubs, apparel, gear, technology, but also I'm excited about the experiences our customers are going to have in the store. We've got something for everybody to experience in golf. We've got certified instructor for lessons. We've got incredible club fitters when you want to improve your game. And of course, we have club services and repair to make sure that you're tuned up and ready to go. All of this by what I think is the best team in golf, ready to deliver a world-class experience for our customers.
Gotcha. And Saturday, what time will we open up on Saturday?
Saturday, the grand opening is at 9 o'clock, but don't forget, we've got an amazing Friday night from 4 to 8, and we're going to do a little bit of breakfast starting at 7 o'clock Saturday morning to get everybody ready to come in at 9.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. But again, you saw it here first, the PGA Tour Superstore here in Buckhead, opening up on Saturday.
Looks good, shiny and new, and some campers doing their thing, trying to get some of that swag. Austin, thank you so much for walking us around out there. We appreciate it. And thank you for joining us here on the stream. We've got more news and weather headed your way at noon, so we'll see you then.
Now at noon, police are questioning 3 people after an Atlanta rideshare driver was shot. We'll have the latest on the investigation coming up. And shocking video shows the moment a man pushes 2 teens off their bikes. What we know about the violent outburst and the arrests that follow.
And all eyes are on the atmospheric thermostat. The temperatures are going up and records could break. We'll take a look at the numbers for your neighborhood next.
Fox 5 News at noon starts right now.
Developing now at noon, 3 people detained for questioning in connection to the shooting of a rideshare driver happened earlier this morning. Thanks so much for joining us for Fox 5 News at noon on this Thursday. I'm Eric.